that stuff known. Bad news, put the beat to home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, bitch.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a Zoc, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shang Tsung. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Harbor Free. Try to hope me, it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Told them boys we taking over. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole guard. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fork. They ain't locked in with the counting, with you speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. Can't do with them steppers, niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole guard. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our car. And I just made the call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
Buck roll.
But I'm a player and there's no more women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. There's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip, my bow tie. Waiting on this war in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip, my bow tie. Living in this war. of all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. So I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Taha Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Lighters in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. You can't, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know like. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the score in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know like. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the score in my whole life. My whole life.
Pando, kill the beat.
I don't know who, somebody need to hear this. Y'all don't speak Hebrew, that's Yiddish. How the fuck you try to label us anti-Semitic? We the Israelites, blacks, native Hispanics. The Germans getting locked up for the Holocaust. Meanwhile, black people still up in the Holocaust. 100 million of us died in the transatlantic. 6 million died, y'all want the world to never forget it. You can never be a Jew, you a Ashkenaz. This ain't a star dum-dum, a gun that would die. Yeah, Yeezy told the truth and got ostracized. Not one person in the Bible had on a yarmulke. We was slaves in America like we was in Egypt. Y'all don't even fit the curses in the Torah neither. Y'all was blind to the truth, I had to make it clear. How Jerusalem, your land, your people came from Europe. That was 1947, your menorah got 9 sticks, it's really only 7. Yeah, it's us against the world, Armageddon. This what happened when you inherit lies from your ancestors. Y'all the synagogue of Satan with them black hats. Your whole nation sitting ducks, Aflacs. Bunch of thieves and culture vultures, ain't nothing kosher. To tell the truth, you vagabonds don't have a culture. Macedonia, Alexander and Philip, you a convert, so tell me, how the fuck is you Israel? That don't make you the people just cause you litter. Why my people can't hate your people like y'all hate Hitler? All the prophets was black and was called nigga. Y'all don't even fit the description that's in the scriptures. Abraham, all the way down to Jacob, we the real Jews. Y'all don't study Christ, y'all follow the Talmud. Keep it real, yeah, let's keep it real. Cold hard truth, it give you chills. Say y'all Jewish cause y'all ain't really them. About to do them like Hammond, it's the Feast of Purim. UPK undefeated, this an easy win. We was born fighting, y'all the evil twin. Jacob took hold of his heel, then out came his little red bastard, they kosher deals. It's only 12 tribes, y'all tryna make it 13. Esau despised his birthright, the Lord cursed him. He ain't the devil, who is? I'm still searching. Ask your rabbi, why he get them babies herpes? I don't know what's worse, that or you claiming that you a Maccabee. I'm about to cancel, everybody try to cancel ye. I ain't afraid to speak, this what I do. They riding to the core, I'm just judging them by their fruit. Cause they ain't suffering curses. If I was carnal, I promise I'd punch you in person. I know this an uncomfortable subject. They making millions off our culture and black people suffering from it. Yeah, they don't believe in Christ, they the Antichrist. Make a living off of niggas, they a parasite. I ain't afraid to tell the truth, niggas terrified. I'm about to go DEFCON 4, I ain't satisfied.
That is proof. That is absolute proof that they know we are the real Jews. That's absolute proof. Now you got the records. Go find me a white Jew on any archaeology in Egypt anywhere. You will never find a piece of archaeology with white people as slaves in Egypt. So don't tell me that they were slaves and it's their identity, and they know it.
destruction in the streets of America. God's chosen people are walking around in America with no identity. That's where God's chosen people are.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shimmy Hawashai, Baraka Thurman, Yahweh Shema Thumb, by Shimmy Hawashai. This ISUPK Kentucky Brotherhood class. What we do is we teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who they are according to the Bible, that our oppressors is the devil the Bible speaks of. And tonight, what we're going to talk about is how the Jews, should have worded it better, how the Jews became Gentiles. Because what people don't understand is that those Gentiles that they was going to in the New Testament was the same ones they was going to in the Old Testament. They descended from the same family line. And we're going to break down tonight how that misconception occurred. You know, which first of all, you got to get you an apocrypha. We working off the computer, but we got them in the back. You got to get you an apocrypha because they took it out of the main Bible when it was in the actual 1611 King James version of the Bible, when they translated it from Greek and Hebrew to modern day English. It was in the Bible, but they took it out, you know, to cause these misconceptions, you feel me, to try to sway people to believe that the New Testament is about God loving everybody when it wasn't. It was just about Israelites. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So if I could, let's get into that first article. Oh yeah, and also we're going to touch on the Feast of Dedications, because I think Christmas is coming up. And what you got to understand is they come up with these fake holidays because we had real high holy days that we celebrated, and they just wanted to be like us. So they made up their own little holidays and stuff like that. So you can go to, let's go to the Kevin Hart one first.
Calls to cancel Kevin Hart's comedy show in Egypt over Afrocentric views.
Right. So Kevin Hart, you know, famous comedian, Israelite by blood. You feel me? He don't know though. You know, he lost. So he went over there to Egypt to do a show, and they basically saying he's racist. You feel me? He's racist for what he said. They finna talk about it in the article.
Calls are growing in Egypt to cancel the upcoming stand-up show in Cairo by U.S. comedy star Kevin Hart over his past comments in support of Afrocentrism on ancient Egypt, which has angered many in the country.
Right. So what you gotta understand is what you gotta understand is what they call it, cancel culture. That's what we living in right now, cancel culture. You say anything wrong about anything, they trying to cancel you, get you up out of there. But I don't think this is gonna go in the way they think. You feel me? Because this doesn't fit the white man's agenda. This is overseas. But I mean, who knows? The white man might fit it in his agenda somehow. But basically, the Arabs have overtaken Egypt. They've overtaken Egypt. Egypt was destroyed when the Israelites was freed during the Passover. Egypt was destroyed, and many different heathens took over Egypt and came into Egypt and stuff like that. And right now, the Arabs run Egypt now. But it's not even a secret that the ancient Egyptians was dark-skinned people. So I guess they're mad at Kevin Hart because they've been living there for so long that they have the same feeling like the Jewish man. How we coming at the Jewish man saying he's not the Jew. So for Kevin Hart to go over there in Egypt and say that the original Egyptians were black, it hurt their feelings. So they're trying to cancel him for it.
On Tuesday, Hart announced on Twitter he'll be performing for the first time in Egypt at the Cairo in February 2023. However, his post promoting his reality check tour prompted many Egyptian users to call for the show to be boycotted or canceled due to Hart's Afrocentric views on ancient Egyptian civilization. Some users have started using hashtags calling for the show to be canceled and saying that Hart is not welcome in the country
is Egyptian history is a red line.
Right. So yeah, they basically it's not even a secret though. That's the funny thing. Everybody knows that the original Egyptians, all on the pyramid, all the paintings, all the artifacts, they were dark-skinned people, man. It was not no Arabs. Arabs took over Egypt. That's why that's their language. I had met somebody from Egypt, and I'm like, what language do y'all speak? It's Arabic. That's what they speak. Not hieroglyphics. Arabic. You go ahead.
Yeah, but basically what you're bringing out is so heavy. It's not a secret. Even the old white Egyptologists from the 1800s, 1700s, like Gerald Massey was saying that the ancient Egyptians was happening.
Right, man. Osiris Christ. Right. So they trying to hide that. But you know, Alexander the Greek and them, they went over there and took over, killed a lot of people, had sex with them, stuff like that, ran them up out of there. And over time, the ancient Egyptians became Arabs. I mean, Egypt was, you know, is now Arabs. They speak Arabic and stuff like that. And I know you're like, well, why are you bringing this out? What this got to do with, you know, how the Jews became Gentiles? Because this is the same thing that happened to us. The same thing that happened to the Africans, it happened to us. You feel me? We got murdered, enslaved, and ran out of Jerusalem. And then another nation went into Jerusalem and laid hold on it, and now they calling themselves the Jews today. So this is the same thing that's happened to the Egyptians is happening to us. You go ahead.
Hardest once said we must teach our children the true history of Black Africans when they were kings in Egypt, and not just the era of slavery that is cemented by education in America.
Right. And that's another thing. You know, him being lost. That's why I say how we became Gentiles. You feel me? We digging into other philosophies and other religions and stuff like that. Kevin Hart don't even understand that we were not the Egyptians that was royalty. We were the slaves. That's what I'm saying. We keep forgetting that. And when we block that history out, that we were the slaves, we can't understand how now we could be the chosen people of God. The chosen people of God have always been in slavery. Feel me? Since we've been here, we always been at the bottom because we never kept the commandments. We was not the kings over there. The kings and the pharaohs in Egypt that Kevin Hart is speaking of is living in Sudan, in Ethiopia, and stuff like that. They've been ran out of Egypt. It's not us. We are the Israelites, and that's how we became Gentiles.
You remember the time when we was king? Other users said Afrocentrists want to steal and attribute Egypt's civilization to Africans and tell modern Egyptians that we're occupying Egypt never. We must all participate in the campaign to cancel Kevin's concert.
Mm-hmm.
Among those calling for the show to be canceled was actor Yusuf Offman.
Who?
Yusuf Offman.
And let's see if we can get a picture of Yusuf Offman. They sent us a link. This is Yusuf Offman. This is Yusuf Offman. Give me 1 second, bear with me. This is who's boycotting Kevin Hart. Does that look like an African?
It looks like a Turk to me.
That's what I'm saying. They took over Egypt. The ancient Egyptians were dark-skinned Africans. They did not look like this. This is an Arab. Really one of the sons of Alexander the Greek. Because a lot of them Arabs over there ain't even the real Arabs. A lot of them Arabs over there is bastard children of the Greeks. And that's what we're going to get into tonight. Crazy. The Greeks. How the Jews became Gentiles.
He highlighted that Hart had invested in an Afrocentric animation series by the company Black Sands Entertainment, which others have accused of blackwashing ancient Egyptian history.
That man, come on, man. Now went from whitewashing, now they talking about blackwashing. That's crazy.
Last year, prominent Egyptologists and former minister of antiquities, Zahi Hawaii dismissed the notion that ancient Egyptians were black Africans.
So they trying to cancel Kevin Hart because if he's pushing that the real Egyptians were black, then it's gonna become like, well, where are they now? Because we not the real Egyptians. It's the same thing that's happening with the Jewish man. That's why we brought this article out. Because the same thing that's happening now over there in Egypt was happening just recently, just happened with the Jewish people, with all the celebrities coming out saying that the Jews are black people. Now let's take a look at this guy. That's claiming that the ancient Egyptians were. Hold on, wait. He say he dismissed it. This guy dismissed. Hold on, wait for lock it. Let me pull this picture up. This guy, the other guy that dismissed. He dismissed that the ancient Egyptians were black people. So now they want you to believe that ancient Egyptians look like this. Go ahead.
If I may, sir, what you're bringing out is so heavy. This the cat right here. He was the one that put out that King Tut image that came out a couple years back. The one that had King Tut looking like Arab.
Like an Arab?
That was him.
Man, they better go somewhere. Man, they better get the hell out of here, man. But yeah, so the Arabs is saying we blackwashing. The Arabs is trying to have the cancel culture, and they saying we blackwashing their history. So they want everybody to believe that they were the pharaohs. Man, are you goddamn kidding me? I wish I had Alexa. Just right here. You remember this? Yeah, I remember saying that. I do remember saying that. That's heavy. So you go ahead and read that, and let's while you reading that, I'm gonna find when did the Arabs take over? Because I'm saying what they think we retarded? Like this just happened now. Just like with the Jewish man, they just in 1947 went into Israel after the World War II.
Last year, prominent Egyptologist and former minister of antiquities, Zahi Hawaii, dismissed the notion that ancient Egyptians were black Africans, but did acknowledge there was evidence of Cushites who ruled Egypt during the 25th dynasty.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I may, this is Google. We done with that article, right?
Live.
It's some more that you think we need to add, or just some more?
So like, it's just gonna go into Afrocentrism in the 60s.
Nah, we can cut it. All right, look. So now, the Arabs say, and I know y'all like, well, what does this got to do with anything? Because now, if they say that the ancient Egyptians wasn't dark skinned, then they could make an argument that Moses was a white guy. He did have light skin. Christ was white and stuff like that. So this is a big deal, bigger than you think. The ancient Egyptians were black. Kevin Hart was right there, but we were not them. That's the thing. And what this say? This is Google. They say after the fall of Rome. After the fall of Rome, not ancient Egypt. After the fall of Rome, 64-1 CE, Egypt became part of the Byzantine Empire until it was conquered by the Muslim Arabs in 64-1 CE. Throughout the Middle Ages, from its conquest by the Islamic Empire in the end of 1641 until 1517, Egypt was governed as part of the series of Arab Salafades. So these Arabs, they tell me we blackwashing. Hey man, all right, man. Look, they got us messed up, man. You feel me? Because if the Arabs then take hold, saying they are the ancient Egyptians, then there go an argument that Moses was white, Moses was light skinned, Moses was an Arab, Christ was an Arab, like Christ was olive skinned, he was green, or what? Man, look, man, we ain't going for none of that. So Kevin Hart was right. The ancient Egyptians were black, but we were them. We were the slaves.
Go ahead. Yes, like I said, if I may add something, the official name of Egypt is the Arab Republic of Egypt.
Mm-hmm. Yep, right, Mosiah Christ. And then another thing is, it wasn't named Egypt either. It was Mizraim. And the Greeks named it Egypt because of bondage, because of the black Africans, the slavery they had on the Israelites. You feel me? Was it was so diabolical that they had to, man, look, we calling this place bondage. This was a place of slavery. So you go ahead with that next article.
Come. Israel denies Gaza Christians permits to celebrate Christmas with families.
Right. So you got to get a permit to celebrate Christmas. I thought Christmas was for everybody. I don't know what the hell the Arabs doing want to celebrate Christmas. I don't know what the Israelis giving a damn about Christmas for. You feel me? That's Christianity. That's one of their holidays. But that just show you we in this melting pot, man. You go ahead.
Israeli authorities have rejected the travel applications of at least 260 Palestinian Christians.
Right, Palestinian Christians, man. Palestinian Christians. The Arabs have become Christians. How did this happen? Murder, fear, trying to join. That's the biggest thing, trying to join and be a part of something. The Arabs that were supposed to be Muslims became Christian. And now they being denied their right to go celebrate Christmas.
Denying them the chance to reunite with their families to celebrate Christmas this year. Amongst a multitude of restrictive measures it imposes in Gaza, Israel has long limited the movement of Christians during their holiday season, preventing them from meeting with their families residing in the occupied West Bank or abroad.
Right. So you don't even know it. In 2022, it's a race of people denying another race of people their religious beliefs. What that sound like? We finna get into it in the scriptures. If you ain't never watched this class before, ISUPK Kentucky, everything flows like a river. It's one race of people denying another race of people their religious beliefs. That's how the Jews became Gentiles. You goddamn idiot. You thinking the Gentiles mean everybody can be saved. Now look, we're gonna get into it later. We'll get into that later. Let's just keep going with this article. It ain't that much.
A source on the Palestinian Civil Affairs Authority, the body responsible for communicating with the Israeli side and obtaining permits.
Permits? You need a permit? What you need a permit to celebrate Christmas? Why is that? If it's supposed to be of the Lord. If you're supposed to be delivered. That's a lot. That's a lot. I tune in to Crowd Spend Night every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. So like, yeah, you go ahead. And,
so they had submitted applications for about 900 Christians to only receive approval for 600.
You got to submit an application to celebrate Christmas. Stop. Hey, Shalom, little crowd. Hey, what's going on with you? Yeah, come. Salakia, if I could call you back, I'm doing class right now. If I could call you back, you just give me a minute. All right, Shalom, little Christ warrior. Yeah, hey, you go ahead with that. Salakia.
We have the right to celebrate as a family together. This is the essence of Christmas. Anonymous Palestinian Christian.
I bet it was anonymous. Goddamn traitor. The damn Arabs that took over Egypt, claiming to be the Egyptians. Then you got Arabs in Palestine want to celebrate Christmas. Now I'm telling you, and then you think the Jews couldn't have become Gentiles, which mean nations, which mean we do it wherever we at. Now we finna get into that. So like, go ahead. I love the truth. I love the ISUPK. The Commander Hunter. Get Commander Hunter hand. Get Commander Hunter hand for this truth, man. He held on to it and he passed this shit down. Passover, April 1st. Put on your gear. Let's gear up, boot up, shut up, whatever. Lock it.
Palestinian Christians said Israel has denied them the permit needed to pray in the church of the Nativity in Bethlehem.
You need a permit to pray in the church. Man, That's the same thing the Greeks did to us. You feel me? The Greeks did that to us. You know why you don't know about it? Because the Roman Catholic Church took that part out of the Bible. So you don't even know. You don't even know how the Jews became Gentiles. You thinking Christ sitting there telling the damn 12 disciples to go to white people and Chinese people. Are you a fucking fool? You try going to a Chinese or a white person, getting them to believe what you want. Good luck. That's all I'm going to tell you. Good luck, you damn idiot.
According to the latest statistics issued by the Latin Monastery Church in Gaza, about 1,100 Christians now live in the Gaza Strip, down from 1,300 in 2014, most of whom were Greek Orthodox, although some adhere to the Latin Church.
That damn Gaza Strip, y'all think them motherfuckers warriors, man. They beating them. They beating them into submission. And America is helping the Jewish man, the Israelis. It's helping them with missiles and giving them planes and bombs to beat them people into submission. And what you gotta know about them Gaza, the Arabs from the Gaza Strip, at one time, Israel was their land until World War II, after they beat Hitler and they gave the white Jewish man Israel. And that's what that Gaza Strip is all about, because they pushed them back towards that Gaza Strip.
Due to the dire economic situation, a 15-year siege, and multiple Israeli wars, the number of Christians in Gaza has decreased over recent years, with some moving to the West Bank or even immigrating abroad. Camille Ayed, the director of public relations for the Greek Orthodox Church in Gaza, said every year a list of Christians wishing to obtain a permit to travel to the West Bank city of Bethlehem during the Christmas season is submitted to Israeli authorities.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, they doing the same thing the Greeks was doing. It's the same thing the Greeks was doing.
Ayed said that Israel has never granted permits for all Christians wishing to leave Gaza. In most cases, he added that permits are issued at random, including granting permission to some members of one family and denying it to others. In some cases, permits are given to children, but not their parents, or vice versa. It is our right as Christians to witness Christmas celebrations in the birthplace of Christ in the city of Bethlehem, just as it is available to all Christians of the world to travel to. Ayed told Middle East Eye.
Yep, and we can end that right there, because all they're going to do is just break down more of how it's wrong and it's injustice that the Arabs in the Gaza Strip can't celebrate Christmas. They need permits and stuff like that. But that's the same thing that was happening to us, man. The same thing that was happening to us. They made it illegal for us, you feel me, to worship our God. So if I may, let's go into how the Jews became Gentiles. Then we're going to get into the second part of the class, which is the Feast of Dedication. Rakatha Yahweh Yahushua. Let's go to Numbers 9 and 3. Let me get it on the screen with you. Let's talk about how Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the Israelites, who are the Jews, talk about how they became Gentiles. Because I know you think it's impossible. You think that Gentiles mean, and that was everybody's hopes and dreams. I'm going to be honest with you. I know it was. Everybody thought that New Testament meant everybody can be saved because you love your slave master. You don't care about no damn Chinese people. You don't give a damn about no Africans. You don't care about none of that. You care about that white man being saved for all the evil he done, because the stuff he done was so wicked, you want him to be saved. That's just Stockholm syndrome. You go there whenever you got it.
The book of Numbers, chapter 9, verse 3.
Oh, it's like 13, my bad.
It's like 9:13. But the man that is clean and is not in a journey.
Right, because what you got to understand, if you unclean, you can miss the Passover. Now, of course, it got to be a righteous unclean. something that you didn't, it was nothing you could do about it. It ain't can't be like, I had sex with my woman the day before the Passover, so I'm unclean. Now that's gonna be on you. It got to be something where it's like, it was nothing you could do about it. And when they say not in a journey, because if you, let's say you live in Hawaii, and because of circumstances, you can't make it to North Carolina April 1st to celebrate the Passover. That's a journey afar off.
And it's not in a journey. And for Barrett to keep the Passover.
Right, and for Bev, like, that means you want to do it. Like, you in your heart, you want to celebrate the Passover. Feel me? But you just can't.
Even the same soul shall be cut off from among his people.
It shall be what?
Cut off from among his people.
If you miss a Passover, the Bible say if you're not unclean, if you're not in a journey that's far off where you just couldn't make it, or if you wanted to keep it but you just couldn't, you should be cut off. Because there's some people that just, I'm not far off, I'm not unclean, I just don't want to celebrate it. The Bible say you shall be cut off if you miss a Passover. Go ahead.
Because he brought not the offering of the Lord in his appointed season, that man shall bear his sin.
Then this in the Old Testament. Now we're going to get in the New Testament too. But this in the Old Testament, how Israelites that was freed from Egypt, from bondage, from the Egyptians, which were black Africans, how they became Gentiles because they missed Passover. They missed Passover. Remember, you missed the Passover, you cut off. And guess what that means? Your children ain't going to even know they're Israelites. Because you cut off, because you missed the Passover, now you live in Asia. Now you live in Africa. You live in Europe. So your kids going to be what? Italians. They're going to be from Norway. They're going to be Asian, when really they Israelites by blood. But you sinned because you missed the Passover. And that's what we're going to talk about right now, how the Jews became Gentiles. Now drop that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 23:3.
Come, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 3. An Ammonite.
A who?
An Ammonite.
Now, Ammonite today is a so-called Japanese person.
Or Moabite.
Moabite is a so-called Chinese person. Now, Chinese come from the Qin dynasty, so the Moabites is more than just Chinese, but just to pinpoint it, that's who it's talking about.
Shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
I thought Ruth was a Moabite.
Shall not enter into the congregation.
So how did
of the
Ruth
Lord.
enter into the congregation of the Lord? If she was a Moabite. You know how? Because she was what you would call a Gentile. She was afar off. She missed many Passovers. She lived among the Moabites.
Even to their 10th generation.
Even who?
Even to their 10th generation.
Go ahead.
Shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever?
No. So wait. Because sometimes I be want to lose my mind. They say Ruth was a Moabite. That's why heathens should be let in. Because Christ, that's his great-great-great-grandmother. Through Boaz. Boaz married Ruth. They had children, the lineage end up to Christ. But that would be direct disrespect to the Most High God. Because the Bible say that the Moabites or Ammonites can't enter into the congregation forever. So what that mean? That means Christ cannot enter into the congregation. But he's the King of all kings, the Lord of lords. Come on, man, stop it, man. Ruth was not a Moabite. Ruth was what you would call a Gentile. Her family left Israel. They sinned. And they were far off. missed many Passovers, but they was accepted back. And that's what Christ came back to do, to get all the Israelites that been afar off. We've been afar off. You feel me? My ID say I'm black the whole time. I'm Native American. You feel me? And that's still not, you feel me, an Israelite. Christ, that's what Christ came back for. To find the Israelites that was calling themselves Moabites, Ammonites, calling themselves Japanese, calling themselves Hispanic, Native Indian. That's what Christ came back for. You feel me? That's how the Jews became Gentiles. Man. You go to verse 4.
Come, sir. Verse 4. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, when he came forth out of Egypt.
Out of who?
Out of Egypt.
Out of Egypt. When we came out of Egypt, they didn't have pity on us. They didn't look at us as a weakened nation that could need some type of nourishment. The Ammonites and the Moabites, the Japanese and the Chinese, they hated us. They hated us just like everybody else did. And the Lord said, don't forget that. I'm so mad at that. If you have sex with a Japanese or Chinese woman, even though that's a sin, their son or daughter can't come to the congregation forever. Forever. But guess what Christ came back for? To find the seed of Israel, the children of Abraham. And that's how the Jews became Gentiles. And Christ came back. And y'all better be happy he did. Because otherwise, we all would be thrown away. But because Christ came back to save the blood of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, if you had sex with a Chinese or Japanese woman, that baby can come into the congregation. As long as the father lineage go back to Israel. But if it wasn't for Christ, man, look, I don't know what to tell you.
And because they hired against thee, Balaam, the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse thee.
Mesopotamia? Like that's the Africans that be skinny as hell when they send $1. Mesopotamia, man, Salakia. Salakia. Y'all better, hey, look, hey, this is my first class back in a minute, man. Salakia. I'm finna tell fire. That's all I'm saying. Mesopotamia, man, look. All right, look. So now, for real, no bullshit. We could drop that. Let's go to 2 Kings 17 and 26. And we in the Old Testament. We in the Old Testament. We finna jab and punch. That's all we finna do. Jab, punch, and show y'all how the Jews became Gentiles. Because a lot of people don't understand the New Testament, man, and how this can happen. They think that all the Jews and Gentiles can be saved. But no, that's not what it was talking about. The Jews became Gentiles because of their actions. Man.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 26. Was for they spake to the king of Assyria, saying,
now we in slavery under the Assyrians, which is the so-called, I think, Arabs today, Iraqis, the people that's in Iraq right now. I think that's the Assyria, if I ain't mistaken. But we was in slavery under them, and they was a monstrous nation.
Saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria, know not the manner of the God of the land.
Now, Samaria was what you would call northern Israel. You feel me? And the Assyrian king placed heathens there. And they didn't know nothing about our culture. You go ahead.
not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he has sent lions among them.
Right, the Most High God sent lions to kill them. Go ahead.
And behold, they slay them because they know not the manner of the God of the land.
Right, because they sent heathens in our land, man. Heathens, fake Israelites, you feel me? Always been in the Middle East. What's happening with the Israelis right now ain't nothing new. It always been fake Israelites trying to. The Arabs did it before them. Before Israelis got put there after World War II, the Arabs was there. The so-called Palestinians. It's always been heathen nations in our land trying to pretend to be us, and God sent lions on them at this time. Go ahead.
So it's like it's a question. So these people that the Assyrians sent, they're related to the Palestinians that are there right now?
The Assyrians, from what I was told, is Arabs. Mm-hmm. And no, not Arabs, what's the better way? Iraq.
Right.
The people in Iraq.
Because then Saddam Hussein said he was the reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar.
I don't know nothing about that, but I wouldn't put it past you because I know you a historian. So I wouldn't put it past you. But I do know that the Assyrians would be the Arabs. They definitely would be the Arabs for sure, because they would be the people that's occupying Iraq though. Mm-hmm. Them Pacific ones was the Assyrians.
Slack, we're going to verse 20.
We're going to 29.
Verse 28.
27.
27. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence.
Right. Now we teaching them how to be us. You feel me? We teaching the heathens how to be us, how to do our culture, how to live like us. That's how we became Gentiles, because they didn't took over our land. We didn't taught them how to be us, and now we somewhere being saying we African. What Kevin Hart say? We were the kings and the princes in Egypt. No, the hell we wasn't. We was the slaves. You damn midget. Salaki to all the midgets out there. But Kevin Hart, he hate being called that, so I had to let him know. Like, don't do that, man.
And let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the God of the land.
Right, we done taught these heathens the manner of the God of the land. That's our land, and we done taught them how to live thus.
Verse 28. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt at Bethel and taught them how they should fear the Lord.
Who was the they? The heathens. It's a priest teaching heathens how to keep the laws and commandments. Are you kidding me? That's how we became Gentiles. We teaching heathens how to be us. So what we gonna do? Be a Greek or a Roman, an African, and Chinese or Japanese, man. Come on, man, stop it. Good.
Verse 29. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the places, like in the houses of high places, which the Samaritans had made. Every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt.
No, heathens brought they own gods. You feel me? They own gods into Israel. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. That's how we became Gentiles. The heathens brought their own gods into our land, defiled our land, turned it into nothing, man. Come on, man, stop it. That's how the Jews became Gentiles. And this in the Old Testament. We ain't even got to the New Testament yet. Let's go to Jeremiah 16 and 19.
Come.
So we've been doing this for a long time, giving the heathens authority over us. That's another way we became Gentiles right there. Giving the heathens authority over us, man.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say,
from the ends of the earth. We all over. This is not talking about the every nation on earth. This is being specific. This is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Israelites of the Bible, that start living like everything but an Israelite. You feel me? They say that shall come from the ends of the earth. Ain't we doing that right now? We coming from all over. Man, look, the sister just found out she was a Haitian, which is Levi. Whole time, everybody thought she was from Japan.
The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Have did what?
Have inherited lies.
Have inherited lies. You know how that happened? From being cast away. From teaching heathens how to live like you, and they take over your identity. Our fathers have inherited lies, man.
Vanity. And things wherein there is no profit.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. No profits. You spending money. You going broke on Christmas when it ain't even your holiday. That's the white man's holiday. You supposed to be celebrating Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication, which is what we doing right now. We're going all the way to 21.
Verse 20. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we did. We made gods unto ourselves, man. Instead of serving the one true living God, we made Christmas our God. Thanksgiving, the white man. We made birthdays. We made gods unto ourselves, man. And ain't none of that stuff save us. It hurt us.
Verse 21. Therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know. I will cause them to know mine hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is the Lord.
You should know what?
That my name is the Lord.
Man, look, the Most High, this was the Most High told Jeremiah. That they shall know. You feel me? All these motherfuckers coming from all over, they gonna know that my name is the Lord. This is, he not talking about no heathens. The Most High don't care about no damn heathens. He talking about his people that's been discontinued from his heritage, man. You know what I mean? This is how we became Gentiles. The Gentiles was cast away. But you see Gentiles, and you just automatically think the white man. You automatic, that's automatic. You don't even care about the Chinese or Japanese, even though we even brought out how the Chinese and Japanese will never be able to enter into the congregation. The children, which means your father's father is an Israelite, but you have Ammonite and Moabite blood, so that means you can never come in to the congregation. But y'all don't understand it. Y'all don't understand the difference, and that's because of the Apocrypha. Though the Apocrypha was took out the Bible, so the whole misconception about Jews and Gentiles, you just don't get it. But it happened during the Apocrypha with the Maccabees. So you could drop that. Let's go to Lamentations 5. You have something? Let's go to Lamentations 5 and 1. And we still in the Old Testament. We still in the Old Testament. Yeah, we just jabbing. We ain't even throwing no hooks or nothing. We just jabbing. Showing you. Let me give a shout out to Ultra 5 and Omar, man. This brother, what y'all don't know about this brother, man, this brother has been a solid soldier for the Most High in Christ, man, for a very long time. Yeah. Very long time doing this thing. Yeah, you go ahead. Going all the way to 3.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 1. Remember, O Lord, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach.
What?
consider and behold our reproach.
Our reproach, our shame. You feel me? Our shame. We shame the Most High. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You are the Israelites. And we shame God. This Bible has always been talking about you. It's never been talking about nobody else unless it was bad. But it's been talking about us bad too. But what I mean by bad, I mean enemies. And it gonna be, destroyed and stuff like that. We've been destroyed. We live in our punishment right now. I'm talking about in a minute, give it a small minute, all these heathens gonna be kissing your feet.
Verse 2, our inheritance is turned to strangers.
It's turned to who?
Turned to strangers.
Israel?
Turned to strangers.
The Jews ain't black.
Turned to strangers.
Gaza Strip.
Turned to strangers.
Man, look, it's heathens, man, has took on our inheritance, man. This is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is not talking about nobody else. Everybody else know who they are. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the only ones whose inheritance is turned to strangers.
Our houses to aliens.
It's a lot, yeah. I almost spit that out. You say our houses to aliens. You know what an alien is? A stranger. Somebody that don't belong. Somebody that's not known. That's an alien. Israel is inhabited by aliens. The Middle East. Something y'all don't understand. That's why it was so heavy what we was talking about earlier. Israel is just a small part of our land. Our land is the whole Middle East. That whole Middle East land is filled with gold and oil and diamonds that them Arabs is getting rich off of. That's our land. Your son and daughter, if you black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, supposed to be in the backyard, playing, digging, and sprout up an oil field. And now you a billionaire for 20 years. Your whole family billionaires off oil found in your backyard. That's biblical prophecy that's supposed to be happening to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, but it's happening to aliens because we chose to sin against our God. Now we sitting here selling crack and heroin. You feel me? Our women stripping on poles because we didn't want to keep the commandments. Instead of being business owners on oil fields and diamond mines and whatever else the Lord would have gave us over there in Israel, now we over there selling crack and heroin and scamming.
Verse 3, we are orphans and fatherless.
We who?
Orphans and fatherless.
Who is? Okay, if you just had to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, the Lamentations 5:3 say we, when it's talking about Israelites, of course, we Israelites are orphans and fatherless. Who could that be talking about? Who is orphans and fatherless right now? If you just had to think about it, ding, ding, ding. Who? Come on, man, stop it. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We orphans and fatherless. We are known to be deadbeats. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are statistically known to be deadbeats. No other nation, even though black men, Hispanic men take care of their kids more than any other race. But statistically, what the white man say, the black Hispanic man is a deadbeat. And what this say, we are orphans and fatherless. Talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's how we became Gentiles, man. You go ahead.
Our mothers are as widows.
All the single ladies. Man, look, I'm telling you, this is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Beyonce had a song called All the Single Ladies. Put your hand up. It say our mothers are widows, are as widows. What other nation has a bunch of single women, single mothers? You feel me? You single by choice or the choices you made? Who get asked that? Black women, Hispanic women. This is talking about black people. This is not talking about no other race of people. Stop it. So you could drop that. Let's go to Jeremiah 31 and 31.
Okay. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, in the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
With the Gentiles.
With the house of Israel.
With everybody.
With the house of Israel.
And this is in the Old Testament. It says it's going to be a new covenant with the house of Israel.
And
which is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
And with the house of Judah.
Which, okay, now you got to understand, Israel was the northern kingdom, which is the 10 tribes that was thrown away. Then Judah was the southern kingdom, which is Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. So basically, with the Israelites, God is saying there's going to be a new covenant with them. Not with the whole world, just with them.
Verse 32. Not according to the covenant I made with their fathers, in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
Right. So what you might get confused with when he say not with the covenant I made with their father, that's true. Because when he made that covenant with our fathers, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they didn't know the spirit. And that's what Christ came back for, to show us the spirit behind why we was doing what we was doing. That's what the New Testament is about. It's talking about the spirit behind the law. And that's the new covenant. You feel me? That was not made back then. Back then it was just do what I say. And that's how Adam and Eve fell. Because it was just do what I say. It was no spirit behind it. It was just do this, and they I don't understand why. He just said don't. So I'm gonna do it anyway. You go ahead.
Which my covenant they break.
Right, because they didn't know the spirit behind it. Christ came to show us the spirit behind the law.
Although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord.
Right, Moses and Christ, they did. We definitely was married to God. We had a covenant with him, a marriage, and we broke it.
Verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts.
Right. He said he will put the law in our inward parts. And how you think he's going to do that? Because of Christ. Because Christ is going to show us the spirit. Christ didn't come back to save the world, to save the earth. The world that he came to save was Israel, which is we brought out in Jeremiah 31 and 31, a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. That's it. Not with the whole earth. He came back to save the same people that the covenant was always with.
And write it in their hearts.
Write it in our hearts. That's what I'm saying, the spirit. So what we know, I'm not going to eat pork because it causes diabetes, cancer, this and that. It's the most nastiest animal on earth. I'm not going to smoke crack because look what happened to the community. The spirit behind the law.
And will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Right, that's right. And that's talking about the Gentiles in that New Testament that y'all thought was talking about the world when it was really talking about Israelites, the Israelite world. So you could drop that. And now let's get into the Feast of Dedication. And let's talk about how the Jews became Gentiles. We did it in the Old Testament. Now we're going to talk about it in the Apocrypha. Let's go to John 10 and 22, just to kick it off.
So like in John 10 and 22?
Yeah, let's go to John 10 and 22, just to kick off the Feast of Dedication, because a lot of people don't even celebrate it. Y'all celebrating Christmas and all this shit. Y'all ain't celebrating the Feast of Dedication. And we're going to talk about why. And that's the second part of the class. Let's go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 10, verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of Dedication.
Feast of who?
Feast of Dedication.
Now, in Hebrew, that's Hanukkah, which is the white Jewish man celebrate, because he stole all our records. And he know that the Feast of Dedication, Feast of Hanukkah, was ordered to be celebrated.
And it was winter.
It was who?
And it was winter.
It's winter right now. Definitely winter right now, because that's when it's always going to be. Because the time of year the Feast of Dedication happened, it was in the winter time.
Verse 23. And Yahweh shall walk in the temple in Solomon's porch.
And who?
In Solomon's porch.
Solomon's porch. Christ walked in the temple on Solomon's porch. Solomon built the temple. And that temple was so amazing that the Queen of Sheba said she ain't never seen nothing like it. But it got destroyed by the Greeks. But some Israelites band together and they fixed it back up. They went to war. We're going to get into them and talk about them right now. And Christ celebrated the Feast of Dedication, which is called Hanukkah in the Hebrew, in remembrance of the Greeks. You feel me? And what the Greeks did, how they turned us into Gentiles. That's what you got to understand. That's the whole point of the Feast of Dedication. The Greeks turned us into Gentiles. And Christ celebrated the Feast of Dedication because the Feast of Dedication basically was a fight for our freedom and for our culture. So let's go to 1 Maccabees 2 and 19.
In the Apocrypha, the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice.
Oh, wait, it's a lot. You can go ahead and move that slide.
Verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him.
Right, now Mattathias was a leader of Israel. And at this time, the Greeks, they was ruling the known world at the time. So they had everybody under their submission, including the Israelites, which is God's chosen people.
And fall away everyone from the religion of their fathers.
What we just read, Gaza Strip celebrating Christmas, the Arabs celebrating Christmas. They need a permit to celebrate Christmas. The same way the so-called white man right now got Arabs celebrating Christmas, Chinese celebrating Christmas. They got all these heathens, East Indians celebrating Christmas. The Greeks had everybody fall away from their religion of their fathers and give consent to his commandments. We live in the Bible. This stuff happened before. There's nothing new under the sun. And we're going all the way to 28.
Verse 20. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers.
Now this is an Israelite, Mattathias. He say, even though the whole world is celebrating and doing what the Greeks say, we Israelites, we the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And me and my sons and my brethren will walk in the covenant of our fathers. We're going to keep the law.
Verse 21. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances.
That's how we became Gentiles. They forced that on us. But Mattathias say, God forbid that we forsake the law and the ordinances. The law and our traditions, man, God forbid, man. That's what Mattathias said. That's what he said.
Verse 22. We will not hearken
to the king's word. We ain't listening to the king. The king of Greece. They ruled the known world. Alexander the Greek. This during that time. Now I don't know if he was alive and was the king, which I'm 100% sure. I ain't gonna say 100. I'm about 90% sure he was not. But his generals was ruling. Mattathias say we ain't listening to the king.
To go from our religion.
We not trading on God. We not finna go against our laws.
Either on the right hand or the left.
Right, even a little bit. That's why he said it right or the left. We stand right in the middle. We keeping the law. We not gonna edge to them or edge to this. We're gonna keep what God said to do. Forget what the damn Greeks say. And this is the Apocrypha. This is the middle of the Bible that they took out. They took away, and you didn't understand how we became, Greeks and Romans and all that stuff, Gentiles.
Verse 23. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews.
So Uncle Tom walked up after Mattathias gave this outrageous and monstrous speech about how we would rather die than turn into a Gentile. We would rather keep the law of God and die than turn into a Greek. A Jew walked up. An Israelite walked up.
There came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's command.
Right. So then a Jew walked up and said, man, forget all that shit you talk about. It sounds good, but I'm Uncle Tom. Hell, I want to do what the king said. I don't care what a peasant said. Yeah, you come from a mighty family. You're a mighty man, but the Greeks rule over us. And I'm going to do what he say. And what happens now with Shaq and Charles Barkley, all these so-called black leaders today? That's them. That's them. They walk up and just forget about our morals and our pride and our manhood. Forget about our manhood. I'm going to do what the damn king said to do.
Verse 24. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal.
He was pissed. When Mattathias seen that Jew, Israelite, his brother, say, forget what you said. I'm going to listen to the Greeks. He was pissed.
And his reins trembled.
That's the thing. When you hold the horse to make the horse go different ways, he was so mad, he got to shake it. The thing he was holding in the horse mouth, they got to shake it.
Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment.
Couldn't hold that back.
Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar.
Killed that man. That Jew that walked up to serve the Greeks after he done gave this big, nice speech, and he murdered them in front of them. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Also at the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down.
So even the king's commissioner, the Greek that told them to do this, the king's messenger, he killed the Greek messenger too. He murdered him. He killed his brother for being Uncle Tom. Then he killed the Greek messenger, commissioner that came and said, this is what y'all got to do. He murdered him. Then he pulled the whole altar down. Said, fuck all this shit. Excuse my language. We gonna die before we serve the Greeks and y'all gods, Olympus and Zeus and all that shit. Get out of here. We serving Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, man. Stop it, man. It's ISUPK under Commander General Hunter, man. Stop playing. Go ahead.
Compound. Verse 26. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice.
Right, he went out and spoke. He told everybody what's finna happen. It's finna go down. It's finna go up. For what I just did, I just killed the Greek commissioner, killed Uncle Tom, pulled down the altar. It's about to go up. I need soldiers. I need soldiers.
Saying, whoever is zealous of the law.
Whoever love the Most High. Who love the law. Who love the Moses, Aaron, Jeremiah. Who love them.
And maintaineth the covenant.
Mm-hmm.
Let him follow me.
Follow me. Or become a Gentile. You pick. Either follow me or you're going to become a heathen. And then guess what? Christ's going to have to come and make us go love you. Because Peter, what you got to say about Peter didn't like heathens. You feel me? So Israelites that practice their custom, Peter did not like them. That's why that whole Acts, I think it's the 10th chapter about Cornelius. That's what that was all about. Because Peter did not like Israelites that practice heathen customs, man. And this is how this all started right here.
Verse 28. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the
city. Right, guerrilla warfare. This is when the guerrilla warfare started. He called them all the Israelites that wanted to fight for the Lord. The ones that didn't, guess what happened? They became Gentiles. They went into the Greeks, philosophies and culture, and they became Gentiles, man. That's how we became Gentiles. But they took this out of the Bible. So yeah, let's drop that. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 1:14. Now, of course, what you got to understand about the Bible is all over the place. Nothing is in order. So you got to do precept upon precept. So now we're in 1 Maccabees 2. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 1:19.
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 14.
It's like 19.
1:19.
Oh no, it's like you right. My bad.
14.
I was looking at something else.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
According to who?
The customs of the heathen.
Exercise in Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen. What that is? Basketball, football, soccer. You wonder why we so good at all these sports? They been knew this. Go ahead.
It's like the Olympics.
The Olympics. Oh, the Olympics is perfect. That's perfect. Trying to be like the heathen, man.
According to the customs of the heathen. Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised.
We did what?
And made themselves uncircumcised.
We chose. When they say, first of all, circumcision is when they cut off the foreskin of the penis when you're 8 days old as a baby. When they say you made yourself circumcised, that means you gave up the covenant, because that was a covenant we had with the Most High. So if you make yourself uncircumcised, that means you going back into idolatry, which means you finna do whatever they doing. And at this time, we was under the Greeks. So that means you finna do whatever the Greeks was doing. The Greeks was practicing homosexuality. They had 100-some gods. Zeus, Hercules, damn, Loki. They had Thor. They had all type of gods. You feel me? So that when they say uncircumcised, that means that Israelites, God's chosen people, went back into heathen customs. You go ahead.
And forsook the holy covenant.
That's basically what I'm saying. They don't even care about the covenant no more. They doing what the heathens do.
And joined themselves unto the heathen. And were sold to do mischief.
Sold out. That's what that means. They sold out. They said, forget God. Forget not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Forget the Passover. That you're supposed to be done away if you don't celebrate. They basically said, forget the Passover. That's how we became Gentiles. Before I get mad and destroy this damn whole setup. That's how we became Gentiles. Because we would rather serve the Greeks than serve the Most High. Because we worried about what's in front of us instead of the future, instead of ruling the planet. We want to keep disobeying our God, and he keep putting these heathens over us, man. So if I could, you would drop that. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 1 and 41.
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
There should be what?
One people.
Christmas.
One people.
Thanksgiving. Birthdays. Holidays. That they all should be one people. The Greeks was, man, look, Greeks is white people. And we going through this right now, all over again.
Verse 42.
We're going all the way to 50.
Verse 42. And everyone should leave his law.
Everyone. When they say everyone, we got Arabs stripping on poles. In the Middle East, they can't come outside with their eyes uncovered. They got to come outside like a ninja. But not with the American laws. That's the same thing with the Greeks. Everyone shall lead the laws of his people.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Mm-hmm. The Greeks. Same thing was happening right now with the Americans.
Verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Mm-hmm. Consented to the Greeks' religion. This is how we became Gentiles. Israelites consented to the Greeks. Do you know the Roman Empire is an off-brand of the Greeks? That's one of Alexander the Great generals. He started the Roman Empire. They spoke Greek. If you don't know it, well, you know now. And that's how we became Gentiles.
And sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
Yeah, right. That's what we did. That's what we did. Many of the Israelites consented to the Greek religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. Man. That's what we did. That's how Timothy, Paul, Peter, all of them had to go to Gentiles. You thought them Gentiles was heathen? Mm-hmm. The whole time they was Israelites. Come on, man, stop it.
Verse 44. But the king has sent letters by messenger unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
They should do what?
Follow the strange laws of the land.
That they should follow the strange laws. The king of the Greeks say, man, look, y'all need to follow what we say. We know it ain't what y'all usually do. Follow it, because this is what we consent to.
Verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice.
Don't do burnt offerings and sacrifice. That's done. Forget your God. You better worship Zeus.
And drink offerings.
And drink offerings. Israel have drink offerings. They say, man, forget all of that. Forget all that partying y'all do. Serve us.
In the temple. And that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days.
Forget the feast days and the Sabbaths. Forget our holidays and celebrate theirs. What does that sound like? America. Celebrating the Passover. Why would you do that? The Hanukkah. Why would you celebrate that? Celebrate Christmas and Easter. There's nothing new under the sun. We live in the curses of the Bible.
Verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary.
And pollute it. Pollute the sanctuaries.
And holy people.
And the people, the separate people. Make them eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Turn them into hoes. Have your women walking around with see-through dresses on, with tape covering the nipples. You kidding me? Glorilla Pimp, the damn City Girls, and Megan Thee Stallion. Pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Had a church full of whores and pimps. Man, get the hell out of here, man. This is talking about black people, Hispanics and Native Indians, man. Stop.
Verse 47. Set up altars and groves.
Who?
And groves.
And groves. Set up altars and groves.
And chapels of idols.
Idols. What's that big ass statue they got in South America of Cesar Borgia? Set up idols.
And sacrifice swine's flesh.
Why swine? When I went to church, when I was a little kid, we used to go to Sunday school. But Mama ain't let us go that long, and I thank her for that. But the little time we did go, they fed us pork, bacon, and sausage. And I didn't never understand why until I came into the school. It's because that's spiritual. That swine is a direct correlation with the white man. Swine, the white man, and Satan is three of the same entities. They both all the same. They unclean. That's the uncleanest animal, the uncleanest person, and the uncleanest angel. Straight like that. Read the book of Job. That's all you gotta do. Read the book of Job. Satan is the unclean angel. The white man is the unclean human. And pork is the unclean animal. They have all direct correlations with each other.
Verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
Mm-hmm. Leave their children uncircumcised. And I know you might think that means when they born. That's talking about never teaching them the law, the covenants.
And make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
I just explained it. I spoke it too soon. Because a lot of people might have thought children uncircumcised mean the foreskin. No, that's talking about exactly what it just said. Making their souls abominable. And that's how we became Gentiles. We made our souls abominable, which means the Lord don't want no dealings with.
Verse 49. To the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
And that's the whole point. The whole point of the Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, what they did to us, the Americans, every nation we was Assyrians, every nation we was enslaved under was to the end they might forget the law and change their ordinances. That's the whole point. They want us to forget God, forget the law.
Verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
He should what?
He should die.
If you don't do it according to the commandment of the king, you shall die. So you don't sin against God, you're going to be put to death. Just like right now in America, if you don't sin against God, you're going to be put to death. But the only thing about in America, it's a spiritual death. You're going to be ridiculed if you don't sin. You don't sin against God in America, you're going to be ridiculed. So yeah, let's drop that and let's go to 2 Maccabees 6 and 5.
Come. The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 5. The altar also was filled with profane things,
unlawful stuff,
which the law forbiddeth.
Right.
Verse 6, neither was it lawful for man to keep Sabbath days.
Sabbath days. Every Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, we supposed to rest and do whatever we want to do. But guess what? The Greeks made it unlawful, where they made us work. They slaved us, just like the Americans doing right now.
Or ancient fast. Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
To do what?
Profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So it was illegal to call yourself an Israelite? Don't, if you call yourself an Israelite, you in a hate group. They just tried to make Kyrie Irving go broke for saying he was a Jew. Ice Cube, Deshaun Jackson, everybody that ever said they was a Jew that wasn't white, they tried to make go bankrupt because we living in the times of the Apocrypha, where it say neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts or to profess himself to be a Jew. You profess yourself to be a Jew, it's illegal. It's illegal. It's a locky. So you could drop that. Let's go to First Maccabees 4:34. That's why I said we're gonna be jumping around because the Bible is not in order. It's precept upon precept.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 34. So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men.
Those who?
About 5,000 men.
Yep.
Even before them, they were slain.
Even before they were slain, 5,000 men. These 5,000 men that were slain was Greeks. This was not talking about Israelites. No. The Lord was on their side. So you go ahead. We're going all the way to 36.
Verse 35. Now when Lysias...
Now this is during the time of guerrilla warfare when the Greeks came up against the Israelites. That's what we explained.
Saw his army put to flight and the manliness of Judah's soldiers.
The who?
The manliness of Judah's soldiers.
So this Greek seen the manliness of Judas, which was an Israelite. His soldiers killing 5,000 of his men.
And how they were ready to either to live or die valiantly.
So what?
Live or die valiantly.
If you want to come serve the Most High in Christ, you got to be ready to live or die. You can't come serve the Most High in Christ and think everything gonna be peaches and creams. You got to be ready to be homeless, die, go broke, all that. Otherwise, you ain't ready to get a crown of glory.
He went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers. And having made his army greater than it was, he proposed to come again into Judea.
Good luck.
Verse 36. Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited.
They lost. We did our thing. We beat their ass. That's what Judas basically telling all his brothers and his soldiers. He said, man, look, they scared. They scared. That's what he mean. They discomforted.
Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
Let's go. Solomon's temple, we got to go fix that. We need to go fix that. That's the Lord's temple that Solomon built, and they destroyed it, man. The Greeks destroyed it. So drop that and go to verse 41.
Verse 41. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary.
Right, so they winning this fight because Judas got some people fighting and the other ones cleansing the sanctuary, cleaning it up, you know, because that's what the whole fight was about. How they try to destroy Solomon's temple, which is, man, look, we ain't having that. So drop that and let's go to 45.
Verse 45. They thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down.
Definitely did. You know what I mean? Because they had to fix it right. That's what they had to do. So drop that and let's go to verse 55 through 59.
Verse 55. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success.
I did what?
Given them good success.
Now remember, we already talked about how they killed 5,000 of the Greeks. And during that time, Judas Maccabee is like, look, we winning. We have some fighting. Other ones cleansing the temple. But they say we got to bring the whole temple down and rebuild it back up because of the evilness and defilements that they done to Solomon's temple that was so pretty that the Queen of Sheba said, this is so beautiful. This is so wise that I'm going to take this and go rebuild my kingdom. But I'm going to give y'all so much gold. And looks like.
Verse 56. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days.
They did what?
Kept the dedication of the altar 8 days. And offered burnt offerings with gladness.
Right? Okay, so what they did with the temple of Solomon, for 8 days, they partied. But during that 8 days, they added new stuff to it. You feel me? Every time they added, okay, modern day terms, pictures, posters. You feel me? Stuff like that. All type of stuff that would just add more value to the temple. That's basically what they did.
And sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. Verse 57. And they decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold.
They did what? They decked it. Decked the halls with crowns of jolly. I'm telling you, the so-called white man took our history and our culture and made his own religions, man. And that's what we did, man. We rededicated the temple. We added new stuff to it to make it beautiful like Solomon had it.
And with shields.
And with shields. What that is? What you think that is? What they call what they say, Molech. Star Molech. That's the Star Molech. This is what they did when they say they decked the temple with crowns of gold and with shields. They put a lot of dawadas all over that place. King David's name, Magun Dawada. Shield of David.
And the gates and the chambers were renewed, and they hang doors upon them.
They fixed that up. They fixed the temple up.
Verse 58. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, but that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
The shame of the heathen that destroyed our temple was put away. This is not talking about, when they say, look, we're going to get into that in a minute, in the New Testament. Just letting y'all know, this is talking about Israelites. That's all this is talking about. The heathen, the shame of the heathen was put away.
Verse 59. Moreover, Judas and his brethren.
Judas Maccabees, his son, his daddy was Mattathias. Feel me? This is a long period of time what has happened. Judas Maccabees' father was the one that said, whoever zealous of the law follow me. He the one that killed the Jew that consented to the heathens when they said sacrifice unto the altar.
and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained, that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days.
And that's why for 8 days we celebrate the Feast of Dedication. Rakatha Yahweh Yahushua. You hear me? For 8 days we celebrate that the fact that Judas Maccabees and his brothers had to fight to rebuild the temple of Solomon, man. To rebuild the temple that the Greeks tried to destroy. They tried to destroy our name, our heritage, our religion, our beliefs. And Judas Maccabees and his brothers fought against it. Whether they lives depended on it or not, they fought against it. So now we remember it and we celebrate the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah, every year, man. For 8 days straight. Drinking, eating, partying, man. What the Most High did for us, man.
From the 5 and 20th day of the month, Caslo, with myrrh and with gladness.
So yeah, let's drop that and let's go to let's go to Roman. Now let's talk about the New Testament, the Gentiles in the New Testament, because y'all really thought, because y'all never read the Apocrypha, y'all thought that the Gentiles was talking about everybody. So let's go to Romans 9 and 3 and 4. We're gonna read a couple scriptures. We're gonna do too much because we gotta get this. We already
concert. Book of Romans chapter 9, verse 3. For I wish that myself were accursed from Christ.
Right, that's what Paul said. He said, I wish I was accursed. I wish I went through what he went through.
For my brethren.
For my brethren. My brothers, the people I love.
My kinsmen.
My kinsmen, the people, my lineage.
According to the flesh.
According to love? According to love? According to we all bleed red? Man, look, Salakia. Paul was against us. And Paul said, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. According to the flesh. My bloodline. The people that we got the same blood. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is what Paul said. Y'all thought Paul loved everybody. He said, man, according to my brothers, according to the flesh.
Verse 4. Who are Israelites.
Did he really just Did he really do that? Did Paul really do that? Why did Paul have to do that? You know why? Because the Most High God knew that people was going to take this book and make it for everybody. Paul said, who are Israelites? My brothers, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Africans, Japanese, Chinese. No, Romans 9 and 4 say who are Israelites. Go ahead.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
To whom who do what?
Pertaineth the adoption.
The New Testament. Jeremiah 31 and 31. We just read that. It says it's going to be a New Testament to Israelites. That's what Jeremiah 31 and 31 said. It say it's going to be a New Testament unto Israelites that their fathers did not keep, but they will keep. The adoption.
And the glory.
And the glory, being the children of God.
And the covenant.
And the covenants, the laws, statutes, and commandments. We're going to come back to that. The same people that disconnected from it, we're going to come back to that. Who are Israelites?
And the giving of the law.
Who did they give the law to? Israelites. Not everybody.
And the service of God.
Israelites. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And the promise.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Man, we're in the class right there. But we not. We're going to go 2 more scriptures. 3, maybe 3. Let's go to Acts 18 and 2. Because now we got to just go into the New Testament and show them how this was talking about Israelites. How the Jews became Israelites.
Slide to 18 and 2.
Okay.
The book of Acts chapter 18, verse 2. found a certain Jew named Aquila. A certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus.
Right.
Lately come from Italy.
From who?
From Italy.
From Rome. Okay.
With his wife Priscilla.
Yep.
Because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome.
And who?
Had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome.
So it say a certain Jew named Aquila, who out the bam, he left Rome because they commanded all Jews to depart from Rome. So it was Jews in Rome, tends the name Romans.
And
okay.
came unto them.
Okay, so it was Jews in Rome. But y'all thought the Romans that they went to was for everybody. That's interesting. All right, great. Let's go Acts 2:27. This is crazy. Y'all don't read the Bible. Obviously, y'all don't read. Y'all just listen to y'all pastor. Because there's no other way you can see this and think this is talking about anybody but Jewish people.
The book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 27. Because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
No, Salaki, my bad. 21 and 27. I apologize.
21 and 27. The book of Acts, chapter 21, verse 27. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews.
The who?
The Jews.
Yep.
Which were in Asia.
The Jews which were in where?
In Asia.
Asia, that's Moabites in Japanese, right? I thought Ruth was a Moabite or Japanese. She was Moabite or Ammonite. But they say the Jews which were in Asia.
When they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him.
The Jews which were in Asia. Asia is supposed to be Japanese and Chinese, but it said it was Jews in Asia. Ruth was a Moabite. She probably was a Jew which were in Asia. So yeah, let's drop that. And last scripture, let's go to Galatians 3:27.
The book of Galatians, chapter 3, verse 27. For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ.
Right. His spirit. That's what it's talking about. Just like us in the ISUPK and Commander Johanna, we've been baptized into Christ, which means we got the spirit that Christ had, not the spirit of these Christian pastors.
Verse 28. There's neither Jew nor Greek.
Jew nor who?
Nor Greek.
African.
Jew nor Greek.
Chinese.
Jew nor Greek.
Japanese.
Jew nor Greek.
We say Jew nor Greek because the Greeks is the empire we was coming out of because of who we just read about in the Maccabees, where it say they discontinued our religion. They made us follow the Greek religion. That's why I say Jew nor Greek. That's why I don't say Jew nor African or Jew nor Chinese or Jew nor white. It's a Jew nor Greek because that's the captivity we just got out of. And a lot of people were still choosing to live like Greeks. Go ahead.
There's neither bond nor free.
Bond nor free.
There is neither male nor female.
Nope.
For ye are all one in Yahushua.
Right. Whether you got money or not, you in jail or not, you a male or female or not, we are all under Christ now. And we all are being forgiven. That's what it's talking about when they say that. I mean, we all, Israelites, are being forgiven. You feel me? For the sins we committed, for the crimes we committed. Once we start following Christ.
Verse 29. And if ye be Christ, then are ye Abraham's seed.
Right. Gotta be. If you under Christ, following Christ, only way you can be if you Abraham's seed.
And heirs according to the promise.
That's it. The only way you can even follow Christ if you heirs according to the promise. But I'm going to end this with a Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahweh Shabbat Yahweh Shemar Tham Ba Shemar Shah. ISUPK Kentucky, Brotherhood.